episode now of What the Hell Is This? And we're doing Red Planet, which is, it might actually have got the prize for me for the most boring film I've covered in What the Hell Is This? Because this is a film that came out in the early 2000s. It came out just after Mission to Mars, which Brian De Palma directed, which was critically slammed and had some dodgy effects because it was rushed into production and rushed out to beat Red Planet into the theatres, because there were like competing Mars movies. And Mission to Mars has its problems, but it's made by a proper director. Try to do something a bit different, and the things that don't work in it are still part of the charm of it. It's got a lot of charm to it, even though it's a bit of it's a strange film by a director who is very individual. So that's the kind of thing. It's a very culty film. It did okay, didn't do great, did okay, but compared to that, Red Planet did horribly. Red Planet came out 6 months later, and because they said, "Oh, Mission to Mars didn't do as well as expected," this one will be the film that will be the film it should have been. And this one came out and it was like, "Oh God, Mission to Mars was really good, wasn't it?" Compared to this one. This one was like Left 4 Dead, and it was pretty much, there was no way to survive it. It's almost the studio kind of knew they had a dud. Because it's butchered to hell in the first section. It feels like the first half hour of the film is longer in the original cut. It was cut down, and you lose a lot of stuff. And it's full of terrible scenes of people, of actors having done a terrible dialogue and terrible exposition. It's just dialogue that's actually at the level of, like a bad soap opera. It's just awful. And I get too many good actors in here saying stupid things to be forgivable. So you have Val Kilmer, just at the end of his studio period. This was the film that killed off his big studio support. There was, but he was going to go on soon to do Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, so it's not too bad. There was Tom Sizemore, just about to have a career collapse after a couple of years where he built up a reputation of being in good films, because he was coming off like Heat with Kilmer. He was coming off Saving Private Ryan. He starred in The Relic, which had done well. He'd been in Wyatt Earp, and he'd been in True Romance and Natural Born Killers. So he'd been in a lot of films that had given him good, respectful notices as a decent actor. And this was the kind of film where it all went to hell, because him and Kilmer fought apparently quite badly on set. And in the film they're playing buddies who die for each other. That requires acting. Carrie-Anne Moss, just hot off The Matrix, is in it as well, but she's stuck in a ship for most of the film. And she's given nothing to do. Basically, it's like they rewrote the part to make it as much like Trinity as possible. And they just give her nothing. And she's still the best part of the film, even though she's not given much to do. Terence Stamp shows up as the soul of they call him the soul of the ship, because they're doing a voiceover early on to try and explain the scenes of cut out of the film. And he's like the new age character. Like, everyone's a type in this film. No one gets any complexity. And Terence Stamp shows up, earns his paycheck, dies early. I mean, basically, he's good, but he's delivering nonsense dialogue. Like, Terence Stamp's a good actor. He can deliver all sorts of nonsense and make it believable. He does that here, and he gets out quickly, so he doesn't have to survive the rest of the film. You have Simon Baker, who was in Early Confidential, and he's a important actor through a lot over the years and lots of different stuff. So he's a small part in this one. He does it well enough, but he's not really given much to do, really, so there's not much for him. Benjamin Bratt plays the guy who's a complete dick, gets killed early. So, and there's a killer robot. There's a robot that it's meant to help them, and then it malfunctions and tries to kill them. It's got a lot of people from a lot of big films, technically. I mean, it's got a lot of people. Some people from the Matrix movie brought into this one, like the costume designer. You have Peter Strzelecki as a DP, and he did all the Cronenberg stuff. Empire Strikes Back, and a bunch of stuff. He was putting a lot of films from big studios who needed an experienced DP. So in between the Cronenberg films, he did stuff like Mars Attacks and things like that, and he would do big studio films and make some decent money, and then go and do the more indie films that probably liked more. But he was technically, he knew how to do this stuff. So there's a lot of talent, but there's a first-time director who never worked again in film, in the film industry, basically. And you can tell why, because this film's so boring and so bland. And it's like every shot seems to be prevised to do exactly what the studio wants. There's no personality to this direction at all. There's no personality to any moment. Every moment is just basically get from A to B to C to D. And there's no sense of menace. There's no sense of character. There's no sense of who anybody is. It's just covering the script. There's nothing. There's no emphasis placed on anything, like at all. Like any film with a director who's on the ball, directors have personalities that means they focus on one thing over another, and that gives the film a shape that actually gives it a personality that actually makes it connect with people. If a director doesn't do that, then it means it's just lots of shots. And that's this film is. There's lots of shots that connect through the film as some sort of story, but they don't place any emphasis on any moment to make you think, okay, that's a character that I'll follow. So Val Kilmer plays the lead character, who's an engineer. His character's not shaped at all. They're pretty much left. You can tell he's been left to do whatever he wants to do in this film. And he's pretty much... He looks abandoned by the director in this film. It just looks like he's like, okay, I'll do this. Not like... It's not a bad performance. It's a professional performance. He's not like he's going mad on set or anything, like his reputation was at a time. Now here he's professionally doing his job, but he's not given any emphasis by the director. Try this, try that. Let's focus on this, let's focus on that. It's just like, we'll go from scene to scene, and hopefully it'll work. And it's like, it's what you get when you have a director not directing actors, where every actor just does what they think is right, and they're hoping it's fine. You know what I mean? It's that thing where it's like, you can tell the actors were just left alone, and they probably didn't know where the film was going. Sizemore and Kilmer, even though they had problems off screen, are fine together. They're back to before together. It's fine. You don't sense the issues off screen. But it's not Heat. There's no unique stuff like Heat. There's no way of getting into characters. The characters aren't written very well, and there's no director who's working the script out to make these characters have more of a point of view or more reality to them. Instead, these characters are kind of cartoons, and no one's shaped them, and no one's shaped the story either. It's just that you get from A to B all the time. It's like, you're on the ship, you get down to the planet, things have gone wrong, you have to get from A to B to do this. That goes wrong, you get to the sea, so you're back off the planet. There's no actual, like, shaping of the story, though. There's nothing there that actually makes you think, oh, this is why I'm invested. It's just like, we're doing this now, we're doing that now. The actors are trying their best, like, we have to do this to get escape. But the camera's never anywhere interesting. It doesn't know when to get any close-ups or far shots to emphasise anything. It's just a series of anonymous visual effects shots that have probably been planned well in advance to shoot. They have no variations, there's no emphasis, and there's no rewriting done, it seems, to actually make any character land. Like, the idea is Kilmer has to kind of grow up a little bit in this film to achieve the mission. But it's such a vague motivation. And it's like, why would a character who's that selfish be allowed the mission in the first place if it's a mission to save the planet? Like, none of these characters would be in that mission. If that mission took place, none of these characters would be in the mission. They've all been set up to be oddball characters for the sake of the film, not actual technically experienced space people. And that was a problem in Mission to Mars they get in trouble for all these characters are boring because they're all professionals. And this one is like, all these characters are incompetent because they're not professional, because they're all types rather than people who would legitimately would be on that mission. So it's that kind of problem the film has. And then they don't have someone on board shaping it and saying, okay, that's too much of that. Let's pull it back a little bit and just say, this character's really good, but they've got eccentricities. And find a balance that would make it work. You don't have that in this film. It's just a technical director who's shooting the film, not like in working with actors to connect the characters to the story in a way that works. And you can see that in the film, and it's like Kilmer gets a lot of grief over the years, but in the best films he's in, the characters always tend to stick to the story in interesting ways. In this one, it just feels like he's been kind of left to float. And you see that in a lot of effects movies, where the actors are just like, what am I supposed to do? You know, you get the sense of these actors do not have a clue what the director wants, or have a clue of what the director's vision is, or have a clue of what even suggestion to make it cohere to a vision, because there's no vision, it's just scenes happening. And that's why this is the most boring film I've watched for this series, because it's just a bunch of scenes happening. There's no forward momentum at all throughout the film. It's just things happen. And things happen in ship before they land. Then there's an emergency. But even during the emergency and during the supposed action scenes, it's not that interesting. It's just like, these things happen. It's happening. The characters are too vague for me to care. They haven't been set up well. They're too cartoony. The situation's shot like a show reel rather than getting the shots that actually make you feel the tension. You know, and I love space movies. I'm so easy to please in a space movie. It's unreal. I'm so easy. I'm the easiest person to please in a space movie. You have to really go out your way to bore the hell out of me in a space movie, and this one does it. This one really does it. It's not good. It's really not good. So I'm going to end by just saying, don't watch it. It's not interesting enough to be fun. You know, it's just a boring, bad movie. I thought it was going to be more fun because I hadn't seen it for so long, plus since it came out. I thought, yeah, this one was a turkey. This should be fun. And I watched it. I was like, God, there's nothing here. What was I thinking? So avoid this one. Really avoid this one. There was no fun to be had in this one, like at all. So well, that's that video. Bye.